going to keep calling him Con Don because that's what he deserves to be called. He's a con man, and we New Yorkers know a con man when we see one, and I know how to challenge this guy. I've been watching him his whole born life, his whole adult life, and I've seen all of his tricks, and we're going to go right at him.
That, of course, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio going right after Donald Trump during his campaign announcement. De Blasio's numbers are so low. How low are they? He doesn't register in any polls, and his approval rating is even underwater in New York City, where he's the mayor. Plus, the latest numbers show Joe Biden holding on to his commanding lead. The former vice president has an 18-point lead over Bernie Sanders, and the Vermont senator trending downward, at least according to a new poll from Fox News. Elizabeth Warren, Pete Buttigieg, and Kamala Harris round out the top 5, but they are all in single digits. Fox also polled President Trump versus the Democratic field, and Joe Biden fares the best in these hypothetical matchups, leading Trump's. The other head-to-head polling is considerably tighter, but it's notable that the president only gets 41% against really any of them. And for more, we turn to Democratic strategist Jason Nichols. Jason, the Democratic field for 2020 now has as many candidates as there are people living in New York City. So let's begin with the city's mayor. Are you the one person who sees a viable path for Bill de Blasio to win the nomination? And if not, why do you think he's running?
No, I'm not that person. I don't think he has a snowball shot of winning the nomination. I think he's running because he doesn't see another path for his political career after his mayoral tenure is over. He's not going to win a statewide election. He's most popular amongst African Americans in NYC, and the larger state, is pretty much Alabama, and he's not going to win those areas around the state of New York. So I think he doesn't really see another path for his career. So he's going to take a shot at being president, and it's not going to work.
As critical as I have been at his candidacy, and now you apparently a little bit critical too, I will give him credit for something, that on day one of his campaign, he took on Donald Trump directly, even gave him a nickname, Con Don. We'll debate how good a nickname that is. Now, Biden has also gone directly after Trump, but all the other candidates seem to be downplaying Trump as an issue. Does that approach make more sense to you, or should these candidates be going after Trump more vociferously?
I think that what the other candidates are doing is good for them because some of them are less known than someone like Biden or even de Blasio. So I think what you have to establish is what your vision is for America. And I think in 2016, Democrats made it too much about Trump. And he dominated the headlines. And I think that was one of the things that propelled him to victory. I think if you want to beat Trump, particularly in a time when we have a strong economy, you have to show what your vision is for America. Now, someone like Biden, who's been around forever, he can actually say, you've seen my body of work. I actually am going directly at the president. I think that's different than someone like a Tulsi Gabbard or someone like an Eric Swalwell or someone who's not as well known.
We are now about 5 weeks from the first Democratic debate, and beyond the top 5 or 6 candidates who seem like they're in this thing for the long haul, how critical will those first debates be, and will we see candidates dropping out after?
Well, it depends on who makes the debates. You still need 65,000 individual donors. We still don't know who's actually going to make them. For the top 12, I think they're going to stick in for a little while, or top, I'd say probably about 12 candidates. And those are the people with the bigger names. I think they're going to stick around for a while, but you'll start to see them start to dwindle after a few debates.
Because it doesn't seem feasible to have 20 people in a debate or more, even over 2 nights. You would think the DNC is going to have to whittle this down, but if they do, won't they be accused of putting their thumb on the scale, which is the same complaint we heard from Sanders supporters in 2016, which will make it harder potentially to reunite the party later?
Absolutely. And I think the DNC is going to be pretty hands-off in this thing. But still, 65,000 individual donors. We'll see if someone like Bennett or someone like Delaney or some of these other guys are going to be able to meet that standard. And I think many of them won't. I really believe that the debates, you will have 12 to 14 candidates in those debates. So it's not going to be this 23-person field. I think it's going to be small. Or smaller anyway, and you'll see them battle it out, and the top 6 or 7 are going to remain for quite a while.
Finally, Jason, some new polling has Trump losing to almost every top-tier Democrat. I'm wondering, is there any value in those polls this early? And the margins are still enough that, you know, they indicate that Democrats could win the popular vote and lose the Electoral College. Is there anything that can be done to try to prevent that outcome?
Well, I think Democrats have to focus on states that they win. It's really going to matter who the nominee is and who their running mate is. You know, I know a lot of people are hoping that Biden will win because he can perhaps take some of the Rust Belt states, you know, at least take some of those, you know, take Pennsylvania back, take Ohio back, maybe Wisconsin. And if he were to run with someone like Stacey Abrams, who could potentially flip Georgia, that would be a major victory. Or one of the candidates from Texas, like Julian Castro or even Beto O'Rourke, were on the ticket. Perhaps they could even flip Texas. That would, you know, that would be game over. So we have to find the best combination, but also somebody who has some electoral value. I think we're going to win the popular vote regardless. I don't think Trump is very popular overall, and I think we're going to win that. But of course, it comes down to that electoral map.
Boy, for anybody who's going to miss Game of Thrones after Sunday, the Democratic primary is about to take center stage, and that should be drama enough for all. Jason Nichols, Democratic strategist. Thanks for a few minutes, Jason.
Thanks so much.
And up next, President Trump just issued a pardon for a convicted war criminal. After the break, an Iraq War veteran joins us to explain why that is even worse than it sounds.